It's one of my guys
Thought I
at work.
recognized it.
Yeah, I'm at Crossroads. I get off at 8 o'clock from work, and so I'm like, and I live in Rigby, and so sometimes I don't get off till like 8:30. So I'm like, it's just best to just come up here and get everything set up, so I don't miss the.
Where do you work?
I actually work for a company called Kyani.
What's that?
We sell like health supplements, so I work for customer service up here. So.
Groovy. Where's it at in Rexburg?
Do you know where the Domino's is?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just right in the same complex as them.
You mean by the Hickory?
Yep, we're down from the Hickory. Yeah.
I know the Hickory. Me and the Esberger, we're best friends.
Yeah, we. I don't like some days you can smell it in the office and you're like, this isn't right. This isn't right.
I had an office that we shared a wall with a Mexican restaurant, and man, it was brutal.
Yeah.
Some days it was like, okay, I give, I gotta have it. Give me the chocolate.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you're recording?
Yep.
Sweet. Okay, so our assignment is the undue influence. Do you have an example?
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull it up. I think I was thinking about it. I don't know if it's completely right, but I'll definitely throw it out there. One thing I put was like, I just did kind of a scenario where like a guy had just like recently won, he just recently won the Powerball, and he was on his way home from like collecting the money when he got pulled over, and the cop kind of used, and he knew of this guy. He just won the Powerball, and so he kind of used that against him to get out of the ticket.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Good example. I like it. I wrote for mine. I just got a job working as a home health nurse for a rich old lady, and she started losing her mind, and I have developed quite a trusting relationship with her. I convinced her to write me into her will and leave me all of her money. I bet her kids are going to be mad.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
So that was my example. I think that's pretty straightforward, like what you're trying to talk about, authority. You know, I think police officers would be definitely a target for undue influence, where they carry with them such authority.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I would think that psychologists and stuff would be at a high risk for that kind of thing. And then I tried to figure out, as a parent, I wonder how often I'm using undue influence.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably not appropriate. Okay, so what do we want to use for our example? Do we want to come up with a new one?
Doesn't matter to me.
I don't have a preference either.
Okay.
Are you okay if I just copy and paste mine in?
Yeah, that'd work. That'd be great.
I don't care one way or the other, but that way then I don't have to retype it.
For sure, yeah.
So now we need, explanation of our example will be something like, use my influence, a trusted caregiver to take advantage of a sweet old lady. Okay, now we need, I didn't have any ideas for our quiz questions. In fact, I'm gonna grab my book.
Okay, I think the undue justice or undue influence was there on 122.
Nice work.
maybe we can do something along the lines of this is like undue influence because of, and then we kind of list a couple things, and maybe just put like which one of these is not considered part of the influence of undue influence.
Oh, that's a great idea. And hi, Daniel.
Hey, how you been?
Welcome. Good to see
Thank
you.
you.
The founder's goal will be to go ahead and reach
Again?
people so they can reach more people.
We are just we jumped right in, and so we're talking about undue influence. And the example that we've come up with so far is that I just got a job working as a home health nurse for a rich old lady. She is starting to lose her mind, and I have developed quite the trusting relationship with her. I convinced her to write me into her will and leave me all of her money. I bet her kids are going to be mad. And so then the explanation of the example is I use my influence as a trusted caregiver to take advantage of a sweet old lady, undue influence. And now we have to come up with our quiz questions. And Tyler, I really liked your idea of just say the following are example, which of the following is not an example of undue influence. And then we come up with 3 examples of undue influence and 1 example that's not.
Okay.
Is that what you were saying, Tyler?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, do you have the examples already?
Yeah, we just barely started that. So,
Well, the example that I got, it's a real life example that just happened in my family. So, my mother-in-law, she has 3 daughters, and one of them, well, 2 of them have children, so she has 6 grandchildren, right? So one of them is always like busy, and she has a good life, and she visits her mother like once a month. But the other one, it's visiting her all the time, and she kind of like get things out of her mom because of the children, and because my mother-in-law is like kind of like alone, and she is live with her husband, and she's kind of like in a depression. She wants to be with her grandchildren, so she's always getting things from her mother using the children. So now she has get a house, she has got a car from her, and now she's trying to get all the will back to her,
oh
with the
no.
condition that if she's not getting anything, she's not allowing her mom to see the kids anymore.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
that's,
great example, Daniel. Hi, Isaac. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Sorry about that. I couldn't get my computer to work, so I finally just downloaded Hangouts in my phone, and that's the only way I was able to get in. So sorry about that. I was
Gotcha. Yeah, no
trying
problem.
to get in as soon as I could.
No problem. Quick thinking. So our examples, undue influence. We've got some great examples. The one that we're leading with our assignment says, I just got a job working as a home health nurse for a rich old lady. She is starting to lose her mind, and I've developed quite a trusting relationship with her. I convinced her to write me into her will and leave me all of her money. I bet her kids are going to be mad. And so our explanation is using undue influence as a trusted caregiver to take advantage of a sweet old lady.
Yep, that
And
works.
our quiz questions is all of the following are examples of undue influence except, so we want to come up with 4 3 good examples and 1 bad example. And Isaac or Daniel was just barely telling us one that is actually a real life example from his family. And so now I just need to dictate. You just need to dictate it into a sentence that I can write for our quiz question. Do you want to try to rephrase that into kind of retell your story in a sentence that we can put as our example for one of our questions?
You guys see my screen? Yes. Okay. So right now it says what's going to happen if we increase this, right? Yeah. So let's say we increase it to 20%.
Did we miss Daniel? Is Daniel gone? He must be talking to somebody else. So Isaac,
Mhm.
do you have an example of undue influence?
The one that I had is it's actually from a basketball athlete, a basketball player, Tim Duncan. And recently, he actually won a lawsuit against his former financial advisor because the advisor was telling him to do deals that were actually going to benefit one of his own companies. And the advisor was going to be making millions off of Tim Duncan making this deal. And so that's what I
Okay.
thought of is the financial
I love
advisor.
it.
Yeah, using his influence over this athlete to make deals that would actually benefit the financial advisor.
That's
Okay.
very good.
That's perfect. And I think I can write that. Let me see if I can type that for just a second. Hey, what kind of athlete is Tim Duncan?
He's a basketball player.
Okay, so I've got a financial advisor. Oh, I think it'd be funny to put his name, Tim Duncan, a famous basketball player. Convinced Mr. Duncan to invest money.
Mm-hmm.
Into a let's see, for personal gain, or how's that? How do I say that?
No, I'm thinking to see what would be the easiest way, the simplest way to word it.
Yeah, or just personal benefit.
For personal benefit.
Okay, a financial advisor to Tim. Let's see. A financial advisor to Tim Duncan, a famous basketball player, persuaded Mr. Duncan to invest money for the financial advisor's personal benefit. That sounds like a terribly written sentence.
But I think it works. I think they'll understand it and how that applies to what we're trying to get across.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's use your officer example, Tyler.
Okay.
Will you tell it again?
Yeah. All I said was like, Rick had, like a guy had just won a Powerball. Rick had just won the Powerball, was on his way home from collecting the money, and got pulled over by Sheriff Ramsey. He had not seemed to, he got pulled over by Sheriff Ramsey. Sheriff Ramsey advised that he was speeding. Sheriff Ramsey knew that Rick had won the Powerball, and he wouldn't give him a ticket if he paid the sheriff off.
Let me see if that qualifies. I was thinking you said something else. Okay.
Maybe something like police officer using his authority to receive financial benefit besides his wage or something like that.
So I don't want it to be actual bribery, because I think that would
Okay.
be a different thing.
Mhm.
But Rick just won the Powerball lottery. On the way home, he was pulled over by Sheriff Ramsey, who said that he would let him off with a warning and suggested Rick split the winnings with him. Do you think that passes for undue influence?
Sorry, guys, my computer went off.
No worries. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, so we need one more example of undue influence. Use our quiz example in it. We can use that one. Now we need an example of what's not undue influence. Like, what is our wrong answer?
What about?
Mm.
So this would be, so we want to do something that would be, let's see. So maybe we could do an example where there is a potential for undue influence, but that you overcome it, because it says to overcome suspicion, the party in a position of trust would make full disclosure of his private interests and potential gain to the other parties. So maybe our third example or our fourth example could be something where there's a potential for
I think I got an
circumvent it by
example.
making it known.
I think I got an example, and it's related with the church.
Great.
You remember that those talks that talk about keeping the Sabbath holy, and how the
Mhm.
kid or the teenager was in a team, a basketball team or something, and then the coach like conditioned him to, in order to play, he had to play it on Sunday, and then he had this pressure to play on Sunday, but then at the end he decided to not to do it, so he overcome that pressure. Maybe not.
Um,
Maybe not.
Sorry.
so we're just we're just thinking.
Yeah, just trying to figure out how to word it into a sentence that makes sense. So tell me, like, into something that I can use for this example. So tell me it again.
the coach conditioned the player that in order to play the final, he has to play on Sundays. He decided not to do it because he's a Mormon.
I don't know if it would qualify as like that the coaches gain from it. I'm not sure, because he would have to gain personally from it. But I guess it could be an example of maybe what isn't. But what if we do something like in here it talks about like it says a husband hospitalized because of a serious illness signs insurance releases for the sole benefit of his wife upon her advice. So there could be a way that we make that. Oh, wait a minute. Here's maybe an easier way to do this. In the book on page 123, it talks about the combination of these factors may have a cumulative effect, indicating undue influence. And there's 7 of them. We could pick 4 and then make up a random one. What do you guys think about that?
I'm trying to get to the book right now.
Or-
My computer has been super slow. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Use these here.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that I'm at the book now. So you're saying that those 7 points, those are things that kind of lead you to think, right? That there's undue influence, right?
Yeah.
And so,
And so we can list like 4 of those and then make up one that's not.
mm-hmm. Okay.
Question. So I'll type these. One of you guys pick something that sounds good that would not qualify, would not be a factor in undue influence, or like would be the opposite of one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll type these up while you're thinking.
Would an example with a cop work? Like a cop asking for bribe to do not take someone to jail, or to give him a ticket or something?
We kind of did talk about that one, but then that one would fall more under like a bribe, rather than like undue influence. As I was reading like these 7 points, one of the things that I thought of, maybe something that doesn't fall under this list, would be something like a person already having a will done from like years back, right? Like, there's no one is influencing them to write a will. This is just something that they did on their own, decades ago or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because then that's not shady. That's just something that someone chose to do on their own will. And, they had no influence from anyone. So it can just be something, an individual writing their will beforehand, or something, something along those lines. I think we can reword it better, but maybe something like that can work.
Okay, I got something. In the last paragraph on page 122, it says there's a paragraph on how to overcome suspicion. So maybe we can pull something out of there to be an example of how not to have undue influence. So maybe we could put obtain independent advice concerning any proposed contract. I like it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're reading it says the party in a position of trust should make full disclosure of his private interest and potential gain in writing or before independent witnesses to the other party, and if possible should assist him or her in obtaining independent advice concerning any proposed contract or gift. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So receiving independent advice concerning the proposed contract or gift.
So our quiz question is: a combination of factors may have a cumulative effect indicating undue influence. Which of the following is not one of those factors? And then I listed 1 through 4, and then I added obtain independent advice concerning any proposed contract. And then I can put down, I like it. And then I can put down the reasons those are right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the next thing we need to talk about is our group presentation. Did everybody get a chance to read on, what was it called? Farms in a school district?
Yeah, Maple Farms versus City School District.
What do you guys think?
I know that the last group for this last week, they did a pretty good job. They did a PowerPoint, and it seems kind of simple to do. So that can be an idea as far as like what we can do to explain it. And I think I did read the article. It seems like it might be kind of simple to explain as well. But I don't know if you guys have other ideas as far as like how how to explain it to the other groups.
I can do some kind of. You remember the video with the Play-Doh things?
Mhm.
So I can do something like that if you want, with
Oh, wow.
stuffed animals or with drawings or something. You know? I mean,
I think that'd be awesome.
yeah. If you want, we can have like a small script or something. So I don't like have like a messy like dialogue or something like that. It's not. You know, I don't have the perfect English, but if you help me with that, I can pronounce it pretty well. So.
That's great. I kind of wrote up a little script actually this afternoon. And maybe because we don't have to do it, let's see, we have to submit it next week, is that right?
Yeah, I think next
Yes.
Thursday.
Next Thursday?
Next Thursday our turn, or is it until in 2 weeks?
Is it 2 weeks?
I think it's 2 weeks.
Nice.
We can check just to make sure.
Yeah.
So I had a script idea that basically, I won't read it or anything, but I can email it to you guys, and you can kind of take a look at it and see, make any changes, or we can totally go in a different direction if you want to. But basically it would have, we could maybe do it, I was kind of trying to figure out a way that we could be creative while we're so far apart. And I thought we probably could do it with the Google Hangout. Like if we each had our part that we read, then our screen would go up and we could kind of record it as a Google Hangout.
That can work too, huh?
But again, I'm cool with doing some sort of other type of video and not using this my script or whatever. There's 3 characters, like a school district representative and a Maple Farms and a narrator. And then we could do like some signs that you hold up to show kind of a scene change or whatever. And then we could have like a recorder and a producer, so that basically all of us have a part and we could put credits at the end or whatever is kind of my,
Okay.
I don't know, my idea.
Yeah, we can do that as well. I was just gonna say we can do that as well because since we're doing it twice this semester. We can, for example, do your idea this time, and then we can do Daniel's idea the second time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or a combination. Like I'm totally happy to have this send the script and have Daniel do something. I just feel bad if Daniel has to do all of the work for us.
Don't worry about it.
That is true.
So are you guys good if I email this, and then I put at the top is the rubric, that shows how we're graded, and then the assignment, and so that it's kind of clear as to what we're supposed to be doing. And one of the aspects is we have to have a gospel gospel lesson in it. And so I came up with one, but if somebody has a better one, then we can, or like I said, if you want to change up the script, I'm open to rewrites or scrapping it and being like, well, nice try, Sharice. We're going to go do something different. Happy for that too. So how about we do that? I'll email this to you guys. You see what you think. And then we have, so then next week we can kind of make our plan, and then it would be the following week that we do it. Is that right?
Yeah, it looks like it's not due till week 6.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So, yeah.
Thanks for bringing that up, Daniel.
Right?
What did you say?
It's on week 6 and on week 12, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right, I have this thing all put together that I'll just finish. And then do you want to maybe rotate some duties next week where somebody else can fill out the page and somebody else can start the video, if Tyler, if you're sick of doing that?
It's no problem. I understand how to do it now, and it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
So I'm good with doing it.
Great. Does somebody
I
want to
can go
submit
ahead
next
and I can submit next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sounds great. So I'll finish submitting this one. I'll email it to you guys so that you know it's in, and then in that same email I'll put my little script so you guys can edit it or change it or decide to do something different.
Okay. Then we'll
Perfect.
kind of
Okay.
go off of that for next week, and we can kind of come up with a full plan.
Good.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thank
Sweet
you
deal.
guys.
Good night.
Thanks for everything. Have a good
Good
night.
night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.